Hey, and welcome to Galactic Gals.
Hey,
Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everyone's had a great week. It's been an interesting one, just in life and pop culture. It's funny because Sunday I was telling Michelle in the green room. Sunday seemed to be very slow news day. Like usually Sundays I try to get everything together for the podcast, generally weekly, and there was nothing. And I was like, please God, let some moron say something real stupid. let some gigantic showrunner that thinks he's gigantic say something to piss off the fan base, or do something to piss off the fan base. Yeah. And yes, my prayers were answered this week. And I got my wish. And there's quite a bit now to talk about. Not just with Doctor Who, of course, but with other fandoms. And we got a Beetlejuice trailer for Beetlejuice 2 we're going to talk about, and some other controversial things, and then some fun things. And we have quite a list from Collider, and we're going to put that list to the test today against our list, which I think are superior. Cool. For the best 35 best sci-fi. So we're going to go through those and kind of see if any of ours made their list and stuff like that.
Okay.
So
awesome.
So how you been doing, Michelle? Are you doing pretty good?
Doing good. Just a busy week, and then had of course, an issue this morning. I, had a little flood in my laundry room, but we're working on it. So, life goes on.
Just life. Yeah. This is why we drink. This is why we drink. There's actually a podcast called that. I thought that was clever. I wish I would have stolen it before now, but
yeah.
So let's get to it. The first section we're going to talk about is it's some nostalgic stuff. And I know that Ghostbusters Frozen Empire has premiered this weekend. And I'm getting a lot of different mixed takes on it. And I'm kind of shocked. Not really, because I tended to think that this movie wasn't going to impress the fans as much as the first one. I don't know if you're a Ghostbusters fan, Michelle.
I'm not. My husband likes it, but
right. But you've seen them, right?
I've seen bits and pieces of them. Yeah, I get the gist of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Well, I did see Afterlife, and it was enjoyable. I'm not a huge Ghostbusters fan, never have been. I quite enjoyed Afterlife. I thought it was a good film. But my theory is that fans are going to be disappointed, and they're probably going to start ushering some more wokeness than they had before. And according to Bounding into Comics, which I was excited about last night because I was like, I was right. Because they sort of did that a little bit, and I've heard that a lot. It's kind of mixed, but Bounding into Comics, they didn't like the film at all. Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire review: a dull, uninspiring mess of a film.
Huh.
Yeah. So, and to me, it didn't look. I mean, you had like a ghost that could freeze stuff. It just didn't. That didn't appeal to me at all. I like the fact that they took it back to New York. But I thought this was interesting because I would think that if it was going to be good, Bounding into Comics would be like, it's the best Ghostbusters film since 1984 or something. But no, that didn't happen. So he said, while Ghostbusters Afterlife succeeded at leaving fans with much better taste in their mouth than they got in 2016, which is I don't know if you saw the 2016 with all the women Ghostbusters, but
No.
terrible. It was terrible. The question became, where does the Ghostbusters franchise go from there? If the purpose of Ghostbusters Afterlife was to get back to the good graces of its fan base, then what is the goal of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire? And then they go on to say, every time Hollywood takes one step forward, they immediately find a way to take 8 steps back. And there is no better example of this than the latest film from Sony Pictures. And they said that they returned the franchise to the sticks of Oklahoma, to the roots of New York City, which was a good move. And the Spengler family is back at the old Ghostbusters headquarters. And obviously the Paul Rudd character and the Callie character are a couple now. And the daughter, McKenna Grace, who's ready for her new stepfather in life, and she's pissed off. So, that's normal. The teenager doesn't like the fact that people are still treating her as a kid, even though she's only 15 years old, and wants to take the ghostbusting business more seriously. As Phoebe is fighting for some respect, things in the city begin to go haywire after a supernatural force has put humanity's existence in jeopardy. So basically, the reason why they didn't seem to like this movie was Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is Sony's latest soulless attempt to placate Ghostbusters fans by giving them member berries while trying to shift the franchise to a young adult direction. The film lives and breathes by nostalgic baiting old school fans of the franchise, hoping that some of their goodwill from the last movie carries over to this one. All your favorite surviving Ghostbusters are back. But they're saying it's just basically just window dressing. And they said Paul Rudd is essentially just Paul Rudd, and I like Paul Rudd. I do like a Paul Rudd movie. I have to admit it. I shamelessly love Paul Rudd, but they said he's just being Paul Rudd in this film. The only difference between his performance in the movie and the other franchises like Ant-Man is that the movie he doesn't shrink and grow at will. So McKenna Grace, of course, is still the focus of this movie, even though Ghostbusters Frozen Empire does more damage to her character previously established in Ghostbusters Afterlife because they have to make her a whiny little bitch, turning the character of Phoebe into nothing more than a rebellious teenage girl dealing with mommy issues and possibly falling into lesbianism along the way. They have to go down the lesbian way. I don't know. They have to go the whole lesbian thing, right? I'm a lesbian, can't help it. Have to. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire cannot find a creative middle ground between 40 to 60-year-old core audience and the Generation Z crowd, and it's trying to pull in by pushing younger actors. So if you take the nostalgia bait and sad attempts to make Ghostbusters a hip and cool universe for a new audience, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is a dull and uninspiring mess of a film. So I'm not saying for people not to go see it. I'm not saying people shouldn't be excited about this movie. I know a lot of people are. But I just think that I hate to say I'm right, but I'm right. I knew that they were going to, this is what they do. They get the main fan base in with a good film that tries to capture like the original, right? They get you in there. You're happy. You're like, wow, things are taking a turn. It's going to be great. And you see the second movie, and then they start putting their woke bullshit nonsense. My prediction, and I don't know, I haven't seen this movie, but they are going to say something about climate change in it because it's the whole like everything's icing over. right? It's
Oh,
global
man.
cooling, or it's something. And I guarantee it. I'm be very curious because I haven't seen the film, but I would not doubt if they don't put something in that like that in there. And so I'm not surprised that I'm seeing something from a major conservative. Bonding into comics is very conservative, so they're conservative pop culture. So I'm not surprised. I haven't seen anything from Nerdrotic yet or any of the others, but I'm curious to see what they're going to say about it. But I'm not saying don't go see it, don't enjoy it, or if it's going to be good or not. It's actually got a really low critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, so it could be completely opposite of what they're saying. But I don't know. It might just be really dull.
Yeah.
Ian says no, they don't do the climate change thing.
Okay, yeah, because he watched it.
Okay, so that's good. That's good. Right.
So Frozen Empire. I mean, it makes me think of a Disney crossover somehow with that stupid Frozen movie, and I never liked that. I cannot stand that song that they sing.
If it does, oh yeah, let it go. And like I said, this doesn't appeal to me. I thought Afterlife was a really enjoyable film. I enjoyed it, and I'm not huge into Ghostbusters or anything, but to me, it's like they always seem to ruin it with the second movie, And even if it's not woke, from what I'm gathering, it's kind of they thought it was kind of dull. But whatever. If you like it, great.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid. They always have to make the teenager, she's angry and she's going to be a lesbian. It's like, why does it always have to go in that direction?
Yeah. Why can't she just be a genius, and do things? So
right.
I don't know.
Like cool shit. Listen to metal or something, something, listen to like satanic metal or something like normal. I mean, like a normal teenager does, like back in the 80s and 90s, you just listen to music that would piss your parents off, and then, put some posters on your wall and you rebel like that, Why does it all have to go into lesbianism? I don't know. And Ian says they kind of hint at the lesbian thing. Yeah, the fact that they hint at it, it's like, why? Why do you have to do that? Just stop. Not everybody that's angry, not every angry teenage girl is a lesbian.
Right.
But that's just me. I don't know. I'd like to know what people think about it. I mean, I'm not going to rush out and see it. If it comes on like streaming, I'll probably watch it. I might completely come back with a completely different take and say, nah, you're wrong. But I do think it's interesting that a lot of people that are our fans are coming out and saying they didn't like it. So, but I guess we're kind of hard to please, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can be a tough crowd. So, and so I don't know if everybody's seen this 1:17 trailer. I think that's how long it is. But boy, did this trailer give me some joy, and I'm shocked by it because I am not a huge Beetlejuice fan at all. And you said you watched it.
I saw the trailer and I showed it to Tracy, and he's like, "Okay, that's cool." So yeah.
I'm wowed. I'm wowed at how young Winona Ryder looks in this.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. She just doesn't look like she's aged. I guess maybe if I put the other film side by side, maybe I could tell, but she looks exactly the same. So I'm going to play it. It's not very long. Just for the people in the chat and out there watching, if they haven't seen it yet, it's quite fun. I'm quite impressed. And then we'll kind of give our thoughts afterwards.
Daylight come and we want to go. Mr. Tallyman, tally me
The juice is loose.
Yeah, I really was impressed by that. I was like, wow, this looks like it's going to be like a fun film. Like this
Yeah,
is something that I'm going to want to watch, and I'm not a huge Tim Burton fan or um Beetlejuice fan. I don't know.
same. Yeah, same. I have to agree with Mr. Hyde. He said that's how you do a trailer. And yeah,
Exactly.
he's right.
It's
Just
got
enough
the
to whet the appetite, to draw
right.
you in.
Right, it doesn't give away the story or how he
Right.
gets back or anything like that. There's no stupid narration. And the casting of Jenny Ortega, who was played Wednesday,
Yeah.
was great casting. That's how you do diversity well.
Yeah.
She's definitely right for that, to play Lydia's daughter. And I don't know, it seems like it's fun. It actually made me excited for a movie. And like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of the original at all, but looks like fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
does.
Yeah, and I do agree.
It
That's
does.
how and Archer Collins says, I think I would prefer the original Harry Belafonte version, but otherwise interesting. Yeah, I do too. I think they should have used the original song. I think that's, but they kind of have to try to make it like and kind of throw a modern thing in
More
it, because
modern,
this is what they do. But yeah, I don't think it needed it. I think they needed to do the original. And I think it would have been fine. Yeah. It's an intriguing trailer from the Facebook user. Leaves you wanting more. Yeah, it
definitely.
does. It does. And we shall see, yes, because we may be like shitting on it next when it comes, but time September goes around, which is September 2nd, I think it's premiering.
Okay.
We might be crapping all over it, but would you go see this in the movie theater?
Yeah, I think I would.
Back to spend
Tracy and I go for date night or something, and go see that. Yeah. Just something to entertain and escape, and we'll just have to wait and see.
This is what we're looking for. And also I think they have the 80s nostalgic feel to it. And at first I was like, why did they make Winona Ryder like, doesn't she know that you can have other hairstyles? But I think they did that to kind of take you back to the 1988 when the film was, they wanted to show, make you kind of take you back into that headspace, which it's interesting. Also, I laughed and I told Jason, Michael Keaton looks like a homeless drunk. Like dressed up as that. He looks like a homeless drunk. Like, I've seen guys that look like that, walking down the highway.
Did you see the clip of Michael Keaton at the Oscars? I don't watch the Oscars at all, but I saw the clip where Danny DeVito and Schwarzenegger were on stage, and they were like, "Yeah, we played, in the Batman movie," and the camera kept going back and forth between those two and Michael Keaton, and Michael Keaton has his Batman face on, and he's like this. But he looked good, Yeah,
yeah.
It's a funny little clip.
He's 70s now, and that's interesting. I think for this it works perfectly because you can be older, and it just makes Beetlejuice look more interesting. It actually makes him look more creepy.
Yeah.
Especially that last scene where you saw it kind of look like It, and you're just thinking, wow, you could have actually been in the movie It, and it would have worked. Well, homeless people are on the juice. Yes, the kind I'm talking about that are tweaking and walking down the road as I'm driving home through my drive home. Yes, they do look like that Beetlejuice. And yes, they actually do. That's funny. Kelly Lynch says, I don't see anything in a theater anymore. Too many people talking through the whole thing. Yeah, I get it. I really do. I hate noisy. I like, it's the best time to go is like Sunday afternoon. That's the best time to go see a movie because there's hardly anybody in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Or early afternoon, like 12 or 1.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
Really so I actually prefer that. It's cheaper too.
Yeah, and there's not really many movies that I really do want to see. I did want to go see the Bill Shatner documentary, but I haven't seen it yet because he just had his 93rd birthday yesterday. So,
Oh wow, he's still doing it. He's still doing it. I mean, that's inspiring to me.
It is. It is.
So we've had some fun now. And let's talk about, we're going to talk about some uncomfortable things in the next few slides. If I can get it to work now. See, they didn't want me to turn to this part, right?
Yeah.
I have the trailer here. I'm assuming everybody in the chat's already seen it. Please, I don't want to play it again. I probably will, because there's probably some people out there that probably maybe not watch Doctor Who or have never seen Doctor Who and that type of thing, or they're not on with what's going on. But I wasn't impressed. And I had Jason watch it because, you know, sometimes when you're a fan, when you earn deep, right? You kind of you're harder on it. You know, there's some bias, and I mean bias because you want it to be perfect and you want it to be a certain thing, right?
Yeah.
So I had Jason. I don't want to subject you, but will you please watch this? Will you please watch this, you know, trailer, because I don't want to be that person. I want to be, you know, like, tell me where I'm wrong here. He watched it and he goes, "You're not wrong. You're not wrong. This is," and he said, you know, visually, and I agree, visually it looks great. But he said, then part of it, like he said, I could probably get into some of the stories, you know, that they have here. But part of it is that he is just too much.
He is.
He's just, and here's the thing. Like, I don't know why these 3 showrunners feel like the Doctor needs to be goofy every freaking time. Like, I don't understand. Why does he need to be goofy every iteration? It seems like they have to be some version of an overdone Matt Smith or an overdone David Tennant. You know, can we have some seriousness for just a second? And it just doesn't seem like here we got a lot of that. Now, maybe somebody else is going to point out, well, you're being too harsh or whatever, and I'll accept that. I'll, like, you know, I'll debate that. You know, I mean, as a fan, you put this show through a much more ringer, but don't forget the agenda that's being pushed. Even if this was good, they still have an agenda that they pushed, and they're going to continue to push from the 60th onward. They're going to keep pushing that, and they're going to make it worse and worse and see how far they can get away with it. And so I'm going to play it again. I watched it like a few times. I don't know why, but you know, I don't know why. I don't know why that I even care. That's where I'm at, because a lot of people right now literally don't care. And I've noticed that on Twitter. I mean, there's people talking, but it's generally like it's a small mass of people talking about this trailer, really, honestly. Which is shocking, because something like this should be big. It should be massive. It should be like it was when you had Matt Smith in the role or David Tennant in the role originally. And even Peter Capaldi was bigger than this. It just seems very low key to me. So here we go.
Give me the loving! Where did he come from?
I don't know, he sort of popped up at the right moment. And then he spoke about time travel.
Ruby, you want to know my secret? I have the whole universe at my fingertips. And I'm all on my own. I'd love it if you came with me.
Who are you?
I'm the Doctor. Time may change me. It's called the TARDIS. It's a time and space machine.
Is it safe?
No idea.
What if I change history by stepping on a butterfly?
Well, that's not gonna happen, is it? Oh!
What's wrong?
With all my adventures, never seen anything like this before.
Oh my, Bridgerton! This place is completely mad.
Things seem to be turning more and more supernatural.
Is that monster?
No, don't be silly. There's no such thing as monsters. It's just creatures you haven't met yet. There are powers beyond the universe, so vast. The whole world could slide into the pit. This is what we're trying to stop.
I'm still ill, Mum. I need to know she'll be okay. You'll keep her safe?
I will keep us safe. I promise.
It's taken me all this time to realize what I'm here to do. I'm gonna save the world.
Everything is possible. Everything is possible.
Time may change me, but I can't trace time.
Don't want to play that again.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I just, it's too much. He's over the top. He's too much. He's a person that I would be irritated by if I knew him. Like, if I saw that doctor, I'm like, go away. You're annoying. You really are. Can you stop smiling for 2 seconds? It's too much. It's too much in your face. It's like, I described it yesterday, and I'll read to you what I wrote on Discord.
Okay.
Why is it doing that? I don't want.
It's almost like he's trying too hard. You know?
Yeah. So I said, question, why is all three of these former showrunners' obsession with writing the Doctor as goofy as fuck? I get it, the Doctor's eccentric, but can we get a serious Doctor to offset the constant barrage lately that the Doctor is on a ketamine binge at the gay club 24 hours a day? Am I watching Party Monster or Doctor Who? The Doctor doesn't always have to be a goddamn Looney Tunes. He makes stupid faces and says TikTok shit. Get the fuck out, RTD.
Yeah.
I know many of you love Matt Smith, and there are times I liked him, but my God, why do these three showrunners think the Doctor has to be overdone versions of Matt Smith or the goofy side of David Tennant? I mean, Moffat did hire Capaldi, but my God, man, side with those two turds and saying that they're both brilliant. Yeah, Moffat lost me there. There are many different sides of the Doctor, and they don't have to be spewing TikTok style shit. Right. So I was pretty mad because I think that, you know, when are they going to learn that goofy doesn't work with everybody? Right. And you have to know when to turn it on and turn it off. Can he be serious for a minute? Can he be like, and the idea that the Doctor's running away from something is bizarre to me.
I found that, yeah, I thought that was weird too. I'm like, he always runs towards the danger, never away from it, you know? So I found that odd.
It really is like, it's really like a Doctor that's at a 90s gay rager. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm getting. Like, he's constantly partying. He's constantly dancing. He's constantly doing all these things that isn't really the Doctor to me. The Doctor's eccentric, yes, but he's not over the top. I mean, It's like, yes, Capaldi partied. He went and partied because he thought he was going to die. But the way he partied was a lot cooler. I mean, this is just like literally a 90s gay rager. It really is. It's like, you know, in your face. Hello, how everybody? I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's almost just. And if I was gay, I'd be insulted, actually.
Yeah.
But, you know, like this first line out of his mouth is just such a TikTok type of thing, and it's just like I can't. You know, if you like it, great for you. Right. I personally don't, and it just pisses me off every time I see his stupid face. I mean, I hate to say that, but it does. It just annoys me. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Give me the love. Fuck off. That's how I felt yesterday too. Like I have been enraged for like a week. Not only did I have to watch this trailer, I didn't have to watch it, you know. I had to like endure article upon article of bullshit from bullshit writers like Dinna Geek basically saying that RTD is brilliant for bringing Moffat back, just like Eric Sayward was brilliant for bringing Robert fucking Holmes back to write Caves of Androzani. So there's people out there that literally think that RTD is brilliant for bringing Moffat back. same as Eric Sayward bringing Robert fucking Holmes back. Robert Holmes was a genius writer. Okay, I have been stuck on this for 2 days. Jason's already hard to hear me about this because Caves of Androzani is a beautiful episode, and you're going to compare this garbage to that. Yeah, fuck you. I'm going to be cursing a lot today.
That's all right.
Just a warning. And yes, I probably take this way too seriously, but it is important to people, and you're destroying a show that is important to people.
Yeah.
And to compare Robert Holmes to Stephen Moffat is ridiculous, and I like Stephen Moffat. I mean, I thought Stephen wrote some great episodes, but to compare that is totally ridiculous. But anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that he also said, he wasn't going to come back. He was leaving the show, and it's like, well, you left, and now you're coming back. I would like to know what happened in that phone call between, RTD and Steven to find out. I wonder if he did beg him to come back.
We're going to talk about that. He wasn't his first call.
So,
Chris Chibnall.
Yeah.
Ball. This is his call. So this is where you're going out. Like, are you insane, man? But Ian says, for no reason, in the middle of the trailer, it showed him dancing in the gay club. Guys, subtly grooming kids. Anyone? Yes, exactly. They're grooming kids. That's what they're doing.
Yep.
And like I said, the whole thing feels like a 90s gay rager. Or like, I don't know if you've ever watched any Bill Donahue. You probably remember him.
No.
Well, or any kind of like Jerry Springer type of shows. Well, they used to have all these people from the 90s that would go to clubs. There were a lot of them were drag queens, and they would be like having these 90s ragers, and they were doing these crazy things, and they'd have them on the show and talk about how they were, hurting kids, not hurting kids, but, luring kids in to party and do drugs and ketamine. So that's where I got it from. There's a movie called Party Monster, and it kind of reminds me of Party Monster type of life that the Doctor's living. And it's like weird to me to you're meshing Doctor Who with this whole scene that has nothing to do with Doctor Who. So I agree with Ian. I think that that's a way to groom kids, and I think that's a way to normalize just behavior like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I know there's a lot of people, a lot of kids that look up to the Doctor as a moral compass, and they want to try to emulate him.
Right.
And now, well, if they try to emulate this character, well, that's like totally going off the rails.
Yeah, it is.
And
I mean, clearly the Doctor looks like he's been partying for he's parties all the time. He's constantly partying. I mean, that's what it comes across to me in the way he acts and some of the scenes in the bar. And they have to keep saying, they have to keep showing him dancing in clubs. They want to mesh those two worlds together. RTD said as such that was his dream for a long time. That's why he wrote the scene where he's dancing in the club.
Yeah, but life is not like that. Life has serious moments too.
No.
And
right, right.
You're going to take people and derail them when serious situations come about, and they're not going to be able to handle it.
So I got this from Twitter that I actually hide people's names because obviously I don't want anyone attacking them, even if they like it or don't like it. So properties like Doctor Who, Star Wars, Marvel, Trek, they had me as a loyal customer, but they decided that chasing the ever-shifting goalpost of progressivism was more important than pleasing the fans who already like the show. So now I don't watch new content from them. So that's a lot of the consensus of the fans. They're just not going to watch. And I think that's the I don't care attitude that you were seeing, which is when fans get quieter, that's when the death knell, I would say the cloister bell, right?
Yeah.
It's
definitely
dinging. Yes. So here's a positive review of the trailer. I cannot say how many times I've watched the trailer already. It looks truly phenomenal. Hey, if it's your thing, great. But these kind of people, a lot of times, they're not just happy liking something. They have to poo-poo on you because you don't. or you want to speak out against something you don't like in a show. So their attitude, well, don't watch it. Well, we're not watching it, but I'm still going to talk about what I don't like that they're putting in it.
Right.
You know, just because I'm not watching it doesn't mean I don't have a right to say what I don't like that they're including in the show.
Exactly.
And this is I thought this was funny. I remember seeing the trailer for Paul McCartney's Give My Regards to Broad Street and thinking that looked like a good film. So basically saying that, yeah, this looks, I thought that looked good too. And a lot of people think the trailer looks good, but that doesn't mean it's a good film or good TV series. It's just a generic Disney Plus show now. It's definitely not Doctor Who. Some good visuals, but not good. And here's something that I didn't think about, but somebody pointed out. Obviously, a Capaldi girl.
Yep.
Bowie for Shooty, but not for Peter, who was a big fan.
Yep.
You think they could have played Starman in the background in one of the episodes who made a comment about Bowie in conversation? Sorry, I'm a bit protective of Peter Capaldi.
Exactly.
So yeah, they actually did this for him, but they wouldn't allow Peter Capaldi to have like any kind of Bowie music in his, which he's a massive fan.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you, I don't know. I don't know if that was a dig against Peter Capaldi or anything, but I guess it could seem that way to somebody that has seen the conjecture that they've gone with kind of shitting on Peter Capaldi since he left.
Yeah.
Think Pyramids of Mars, then Singing Goblins. The legacy holders have produced something that scarcely resembles a program, and it has the privilege of continuing. Yeah. If you think of Pyramids Mars and, like a Tom Baker episode and then Singing Goblins, it just doesn't mesh. It just doesn't fit.
And, from that trailer, it looks like there's another sing-along coming where they were all dancing together in a group. And
That's
I'm like,
the Beatles
hell
one.
no.
That's the Beatles one.
So
and there's going to be a number. He's going to sing. He's going to sing and dance. This doctor has to sing and dance. Great visuals, but I'm not excited at all. As with Jodie, the character in Shooty appears to be playing doesn't bear any resemblance to the Doctor. This is not Doctor Who. And this person says everyone's talking about that new Doctor Who trailer. No one really is. They really aren't talking that much about it when we're talking about it, but not as much as previous trailers. I mean, even Jodie had more talk. I think people are just sick of it. And
I agree.
Here we go with this picture. I wonder how anyone is pretending that this is still Doctor Who. Everybody knows. If you're a true fan, it's not Doctor Who.
That reminds me of the Partridge Family or something, that whole background and everything. It's weird.
Ian says, I guess this is a response to the positive review. Phenomenal. You're stupid and need to learn what the word means. Yeah, people are just this ruffles feathers. It really does.
Austin Powers. Okay, yeah, Austin Powers. I can see that. Yeah. Although you know what,
that's right.
I think Mike Myers would do a better job at playing the Doctor, though.
Probably. That's not saying very much, but he would be. I'd rather watch him. I really would.
Yeah. I know when I watched the trailer yesterday, Tracy's like, "Is that Doctor Who?" And I said, "Yeah." And he was watching over my shoulder. He's like, "No, I'm not watching that shit." That's what he said.
I can't wait until RTD race swaps the Beatles.
Oh boy.
I'm surprised they didn't actually do something with like Little Richard or something like that. I'm really surprised that they didn't, because Little Richard now is saying, well, I don't know. I watched a documentary on his life. And now he's saying that he was actually the king of rock and roll, not Elvis. He's saying he was saying that.
Wow.
Yeah, that was his claim. And so, I personally not a huge Elvis fan either, but I would say that Elvis was the king of rock and roll.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm surprised that they're focusing on the Beatles at all. To be honest with you. Yeah. All right. So this is what we were talking about earlier. Russell T. Davies asked Chris Chibnall to come back to Doctor Who first. So after lavishing Moffat in the series 14 episode director Julianne Robinson with praise on Instagram, Davies made a point of writing, Stephen was the second phone call I made after getting the old job back. The first was Chris Chibnall, but he sent love and kisses and ran off to write his new novel. He can write a novel? All right. Yeah, his novel is How to Destroy a Big Time, legendary, iconic sci-fi show.
Yep.
That's been on for 50 plus years. That's his novel. How to. The message subtext seems clear, but as has been in every public statement Davies has made about the Chibnall era, he'll have no truck with fans, unduly criticizing the previous showrunner. The post 2005 trio are mates, and they're all magnificent. I bet they're mates, all right. Thank you very much. Additionally, when it comes out, buy Chris Chibnall's new novel. It's a Dorset set murder mystery called Death at the White Hart, which sounds like very much into his Broadchurch creator skill set, which, okay. Davies' stance is one that we'll all learn from, and let's be frank, no reminder to an SFF fandom to play nice online is ever wasted. Yeah, tell it to people that for 4 years, tell people to kill themselves because they didn't like Jodie Whittaker in the Chris Chibnall era. So fuck off. Fuck off big time. I really take offense to that because we were literally like bullied. People were threatened. Mm-hmm. People were told that they should be raped, killed, horrible things to people through DMs that Twitter at the time did nothing about. And he has the audacity to say that, the Not Our Doctor group should be kinder. That's such bullshit.
That needs to be reversed. They're the ones that need to be kinder, Yes. I get it. Yeah.
And I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I've seen it happen on their end too.
Right.
And that is obviously, I disavow any of that. I don't agree with bullying somebody that hasn't done anything to you and they just like Jodie Whittaker or they just like Shooty Gatwa. I don't agree with that. I think you should let people feel the way they want to feel. But if they're attacking you and giving you death threats, then they have lost their argument. Either way, right?
Right.
But I think it does happen more the other way than it does. And they'll never admit that it does. So here again, the great R2D, with his great brilliance, again, has given us a 3-word Doctor Who teaser from the Moffat Return. Right, Doctor Who fans, it's time to get speculating about what the exciting Stephen Moffat return could mean for the Sci-Fi series. Could we be seeing a major moment, including the forceful beat of a drum accompanied by a herd of antelopes? I really wish RTD would keep his sexual fantasies out of Doctor Who. It's like, You got to think for antelopes, keep it to yourself, man. Stay with us here because actually showrunner Russell T. Davies has included a bit of clue in his announcement of Moffat's return. Announcing the news on his Instagram, Davies wrote, well, I turn my back for 5 minutes. If I've had a quick look and there's a thing that does things in a perfectly ordinary word turned into something terrifying, whatever. And it's all in outer space and there's a woman and oh my God, this guy writes? Like he literally writes sentences together. And it's of course brilliant. Beyond brilliant. Of course, you narcissistic asshole. It's always everything you do is brilliant. It's absolutely mesmerizing episode. I'm lucky and proud and honored to be working with Stephen Moffat, the great man. Jesus. And to have this directed by the genius of Julianne Robinson, director. No, we're all lucky. Stephen was the second phone call I made. Wow. You called Chris Chibnall first. Let that all sink in.
Yeah.
After getting the old job back. The first was Chris Chibnall, but he sent love and kisses, I bet, and ran off to write his new novel. Oh, good for you. So stand back, get ready, and travel with the Doctor and Ruby, the most dangerous world you can imagine, and Antelope Moment drums. Gay.
Yeah.
So if you were to take those 3 final words and insight into what's to come, we could very well be looking at an episode which will include all the above. I'm frightened, actually. Or it could be a potential red herring. Who knows? I'm actually kind of frightened. Yeah, and so I don't care what these people are saying. Some people are saying it's going to be John Sims. Who cares? Um, I don't know. Maybe some people care. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what is your thoughts on his? I hate when he does these little games. I think they're stupid. Even if I'm on board with whatever he's doing, right? I'm like, just dude, don't play these stupid games. Like they're dumb. You know?
Yeah, just do you. Write your shit. Don't cater to what everybody else wants. Write the stuff that you're passionate to write about. You know?
I honestly didn't think that somebody could house that much narcissism in one body. Like, dude, you really think you're great. Like, and that's great. I think that people have talent. They should embrace that, right? They should accept that they're good. But it just comes across as just a gigantic narcissist. Even if I'm like the guy, it oozes like, be a little humble. Yeah, he can't do that. And obviously Stephen Moffat can't either, apparently. Stephen Moffat praises new Doctor Who release schedule, jokes about complaints. And basically Moffat did comment specifically on the iPlayer news. What has drawn criticism from some UK fans, but he did jokingly add, speaking as a fan, I can't wait to complain about it. Look, I know people think we do complain, but we have reasons for what we complain about. It's not just stuff like this. I don't care when it. I mean, like if it airs, I know why they're doing it. Like they want to like have an excuse because the ratings are so low, and they're like, well, people watch on iPlayer, right? I get that, but like I don't care. Like why would I complain about something? America gets to watch the shit early. You know, why anyone complaining? I don't want to watch it anyway. So
yeah,
that's the least of my complaints, but. They kind of make it seem like we're just complaining about stupid shit. No, we don't. We complain about legitimate concerns about the show.
Yeah.
And what you've done to it.
Yeah, everybody's entitled to their opinion, whether they like it. And if they like it, good for them. And we just happen to not like it, and good for us too.
And they really like, honestly, they play these games like we're stupid. Like we all knew Stephen Moffat was coming back. He was saying, oh, no. It's not like, yes, we are not stupid. It's like the band, when a band, they play their encore, their encore set, and they leave. And then like, everybody knows they're coming back. Right. It's what they do. It's kind of like this. I knew he was coming back. And I would have been excited had this been a well-written show with a good doctor. Right. Because I think it would have been good. But yeah, I saw his last show. It was called Inside Man. It sucked. It was horrible. I couldn't even get through it. It was so cringy. I wanted to like it. It had David Tennant in it. He played a vicar. I mean, it was kind of like a murder thing or kind of a mystery thing, and had true crime elements. I couldn't get past the second episode.
Is that the one where the guy was watching porn or something, and he gave his flash drive to David?
Yes, it was, and it was child.
I started porn. That. I started
and
that,
just
but
the
I never
way
finished it.
Tennant acted in that show, and the way they wrote his character was so stupid.
Yeah,
I really had to turn it off. I couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
So, of course, Moffat's going on about how this is going to be great. Of course, he's saying that. He's a part of it. And he's supposedly pinned to write the Christmas episode, which I think he's probably going to write more episodes. But I don't even know if Moffat, even if he could write a really good Doctor Who episode now, I don't even know if he can do it anymore. I thought RTD could do it, and obviously we're saying he can't do it without agenda. So, and it also shows that he's on board with all of this. He's fine with all of this. So, right there, just, I mean, I like him. If he wouldn't have come back, I would have had a lot more respect for him. Actually,
yeah.
Moffat and RTD can go and get stuffed. Yeah, I think that's the consensus of the majority of the fans. Yeah. I really do. I think there's a very small group that is okay with it.
Yeah. I like what John Steed said, Facebook user. He said, I think it's time to rest it for 5 years, then get someone who cares about it to run it. Yeah. We've been saying that since, we knew about all this.
Yeah, and they're not, but they won't, because they want to
Right.
get this now. They have to get this agenda out. RTD has said it in countless interviews that this is what they, they need to normalize whatever they want to groom kids with. And it's important to get it out to the children. So this is urgent for them. So moving on from Doctor Who news, I thought this was interesting. And I know we'd kind of talked behind the scenes, maybe on the last one of our streams, we talked about Henry Cavill joining the Marvel. It might have been backstage that we were talking about it. And apparently, this is still a rumor, but Deadpool and Wolverine to feature Henry Cavill as a variant of Mutant Berserker, which is a variant of like Wolverine, from what I understand.
Okay.
And an exclusive for the website, Hards asserted, I've been able to confirm that Henry Cavill will indeed appear in Deadpool 3. More than that, I know who he's playing. Henry Cavill will appear in Deadpool and Wolverine as a multiverse variant of Wolverine. So I thought that was very interesting. I'm not going to go on too much. I'm not going to go on too much about that. I'm not huge like Deadpool fan, or I do like Wolverine. I did like the Hugh Jackman version in the X-Men series.
Yeah.
And I didn't quite enjoy Logan. I thought that was actually a really good movie. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I have. That's the one where he, the little girl is in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I did
Patrick
see
Stewart
that. Yes. Yeah.
comes back for that.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that one. I don't know. I mean, I know you've seen Man of Steel, and it's been recently. I don't know how you feel about him playing a different superhero character on the other side of instead of DC, it's Marvel. I don't know what you think about that, because I know you've been watching a lot of those movies for the first time.
Yeah, we've
recently.
been collecting the DC side of things, and I don't get into all the DC versus Marvel crap. I just like superhero stories,
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know anything about Berserker. I'd have to ask my son about that, because he knows all those characters and has.
I don't know much about it either. I any kind of Henry Cavill news, I'm like, gets my ears up, perks my ears up a little bit.
I do like him as Superman, though. I think he's really, really good as Superman. And I know he's going to be playing, in the Highlander.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tried to watch that one. Yeah, I tried to watch that, with I can't think of his name, but yeah. And I didn't care much for it. Wow. I know the gist of the story, but so I'm curious to see.
You might be more into this. I mean,
yeah,
and I get it. Like I love the original one, and it's not for everybody. Mm-hmm. And this is what our show is about. Like we don't always agree, and that's a good example.
Right.
I'm at first I was a little bit, oh no, you can't remake Highlander. It had a perfect feel to the movie, and I still agree with that. But I think knowing how Henry is about how things need to be done, I'm hoping that it will be the same, and the same quality as the original. And I've heard that they're using the Queen music, which I think is also very important, because the Queen music was really a big part of that show. But
okay,
as far as this goes, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Deadpool, although I watched 2 of the movies just out of curiosity more than anything. I might watch it just to see like what I think about him playing a different character, which would be interesting.
Yeah.
But Gary says Berserker is not a Marvel or DC character. It's from Image Comics. Okay. So it's probably an offshoot or something, or indie comic, I'm assuming. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But yeah, it's interesting. So we were talking. I know Gary mentioned it, and so here's more like news about it. I wanted to kind of bring it up. But feel free to go back. I think this is on Bounding into Comics, and read the full article.
Okay.
Another Bounding into Comics, man, they were just like on fire this week. I'm finding more and more stuff, and I was a little bit apprehensive at first to discuss this, but the more that I read about what the plot is, I feel like it needs to be addressed, right? And the fact, I actually find the title very offensive, actually. And
Yeah.
I'm not the only one, apparently. I'm not even going to read the title, but I just, it's a way it sounds to me. It sounds very offensive. But what I really find offensive about this movie is that Black people are basically in this movie assigned to white people to make us feel better so we don't kill them. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, literally. Yes. And this movie has bombed so bad, so I'm sure I'm not making it any worse for the film.
Wow.
And I highlighted some sections. What if we were able to create a movie about a group of Black people who have to go around to keep white people comfortable for their own safety? This is the premise of the American Society of Magical. The film stars Justice Smith as Aaron, a failed artist who tries to hawk off his abstract art that nobody understands or even less people want to buy, who is a textbook definition of a beta male.
Oh, for God's sakes.
So Aaron is so good at being a walking doormat to anyone who comes within a 5-foot radius of him that he's recruited by a man named Roger, played by David Alan Grier, to become a member of the Magical Society. And I know it's not the other word, but I don't know. It just sounds very like no. Because keeping white people comfortable and the only way to keep them from killing Black people. Aaron joins their ranks and is assigned to an ad agency executive to keep him comfortable as his white tears show emotional distress. That's not a joke. That is the actual plot of the movie.
Jeez.
And here they go on to say, the message of the film is clear. Whatever white people are not comfortable, Black people are the ones who want to die. A message that is so divorced from reality, it would be considered nonsensical even as a fantasy. And the only time Smith's character comes alive is to lecture the audience about the fact that Black people in the United States every day live under the guise that our white people just want them dead. This, my friends, is projection.
No kidding. Oh my God.
I don't know if you'd heard about this, so I wanted to kind of bring it up. But here's the thing. Just think of it this way. What if this was reversed? This would not be acceptable if it was reversed to me at all. And I feel like it should go for the same thing. If you can't, and you can switch it and go, how would they feel if this was the American Society of Magical White People and we were assigned to a Black person so they didn't kill us?
Yeah. Jeez. That's just so.
This is what Hollywood.
Sure. Yeah.
This is what Hollywood is allowing to be put on the screen, people. This is what they are allowing to be put on the screen. And this is of course touted as a comedy. I heard it was dreadfully dull and it wasn't even funny and completely offensive, and not only to white people but to Black people as well. If you go on YouTube and read the comments on YouTube for the trailer, you will see it is like people are enraged, and we should be. This isn't helping. Martin Luther King would be horrified.
Oh my God, I can just hear Malcolm X saying shit about this. God.
Yeah. This is not what Martin Luther King wanted. This is right here is a hatred personified of a race of people. And it's not the Black race. People, I mean, it's not hatred for them. It's hatred for white people. And this has to stop. This is garbage. This is what, this could cause somebody to go out and kill a white person because they saw this movie. This creates more
division.
Yes. And this is what they spend their money on promoting. Yes, this is which was originally by Spike Lee, by the way. He was the one that kind of originally. And I heard that there was a Key and Peele skit, and I don't mind a little comedy, but I think when you start talking about how you need to comfort white people so they don't kill you is ridiculous. You're painting a whole group of people as people that want to kill you.
Right.
So switch that around, and it's, you know what I mean? It's so, like I said, I was, kind of apprehensive talking about it, but you know what? I felt like that plot right there. Some people may not know, and you need to be aware. Although it's bombing, I think it's like 2.9 on IMDb. It's bombing. People hate it. Even black people hate it. I mean, black people, white people, we're all in agreement on this. This is, this might bring us together. I don't know. Or this hatred of this movie. I find it offensive.
Yeah, it is. And
I
I
find
have
it highly
black people. I have black people that are good friends of ours. I mean, we're tight, and knowing her, she would definitely find that offensive.
Yeah.
So
Kelly Lynch says, and they're using a medium invented by a white person to spread this culture appropriation.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all part of that agenda because they want us divided on everything.
And Jason made a good point last night when we were talking about this. He said, this is almost like they're trolling. They just want a reaction. Gary says, why didn't RTD? I'm surprised he didn't. I'm surprised he didn't with the tear in his eye, coming down his eye, because he's a black savior.
Maybe it wasn't gay enough. I don't know.
Yeah. They'd have to make the lead gay, and then he'd do it. Stuff like this makes more of it. Yeah, I agree. And it might turn people off that we're talking about it, but I feel like this is racism, people. There's no excuse. This is racism. Racism is racism, no matter what color you are.
Exactly. And there are a lot of good black shows out there. There's some that I watch.
Yeah. I mean, look, I used to watch Dave Chappelle, man, and he makes fun of white people, but I would laugh my butt off. It's the way it's done.
Yeah,
if it's done in a certain way, but when you start talking about like, we don't want them to kill us, so we're gonna like try to comfort them and be there for them so we can protect ourselves. That's the part that I'm like, I can't get behind that. Time Mechanic says, I think I enjoy this film, but probably get attacked by the wokesters in the cinema for laughing in all the wrong places. You probably would. And I mean, you're a better person than me, because this would probably anger me. But again, it's how it's done. If they would have done this in a different way and made it kind of fun and not like, look, we're not trying to poke fun at anybody. It's like a Dave Chappelle type of thing. I might be able to be all right with it, but Retro Doc says, insert its racist gift here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dave Chappelle is hilarious, and he's a national treasure. I love Dave Chappelle.
God.
Yeah. So, moving on. I it just angers me just seeing it. All right, so here I'm gonna get you all like riled up now. And yes, I put this article in here on purpose. Stargate should be massive franchise. What went wrong? Already, the title is getting you. So it goes on to say, in the late 1990s and 2000s, Stargate was a major franchise. It seemed like it was on track to enduring staple of the sci-fi genre in the same way that Star Trek rose to prominence in the 1960s, before spinning it off on numerous successful movies and shows. So they were like Stargate falling into obscurity. On the back of Stargate SG-1 success, I thought the franchise was being elevated from a cult classic franchise to a respected science fiction series that could possibly even compete with the titans of the genre. Unfortunately, that goodwill has been consistently squandered, and now the series seems to be falling into obscurity. And they go on to talk about, Stargate movie and how well it didn't do very well. It only, had made $196 million. I'd take $196 million.
No kidding, right?
Ranking over $196 million in the movie. The movie broke previous records for movies released during October. However, critics pan the movie's cliche and predictable plot, and the movie receiving mostly negative reviews. It's sitting at 54% on Rotten Tomatoes, which means nothing. Stargate SG-1 next up, and they had nothing but praise to talk about that. Basically, it was a success, that they thought it was good, but it was a high point of the franchise, which I don't know if you would agree with that. I haven't watched it all, so I can't say. Unfortunately, while Stargate SG-1 had a phenomenal 10-season run, it turned out not to be the start of a media juggernaut, but the high point of a franchise that found itself in a rapid decline. I disagree.
Totally disagree.
The first spinoff to SG-1 was Stargate Atlantis, which failed to live up to the hype around SG-1. What did you say, Willis? And never reached the highs of the first show, feeling like an inferior copy of the original. The next iteration, Stargate Universe, fared even worse, trying to create an edgier version of the universe. Not only failed to reach new audiences, but its darker vibe lost most of the Stargate fandom that was left. And here they go on to say, which I don't want to happen, that they need to bring it back to its former glory and revamp it and make it fresh. And they need Amazon to do that. What do you think?
As long as Joe Malazzi can be the writer, then fine. Bring some new characters back. I would like to see what happens when Atlantis got left here on Earth. I want to know.
Yeah.
Those.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's left the hell open, and this guy obviously doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Because I think Stargate Atlantis, for me, gave me my love of science and everything else because of McKay, and we wouldn't have had that if we didn't have SG-1, and we wouldn't have had that if we didn't have the movie. So everything builds,
Right.
and this is only this guy's opinion. I think.
Right. Exactly. And that's why we bring it here, so we can debate this opinion, because he's just writing an article, and it's
it's not gospel or anything.
I personally worry that when they say fresh, what they mean is, depending on where this article came from. I don't remember where I got this article. Let me go back. Giant freaking robot. Little liberal. Here's the thing. When I worry about fresh, when they mean fresh, they mean like forced diversity. In other words, we got to have like a diverse cast, not based on talent, but just and Stargate was pretty diverse. But not just based on talent, and we've got to have some lesbians in there, and we got to have some of the LGBTQ AI whatever plus or whatever. We got to have that, and we got to have storylines that have like messages in them. That's when I worry when they say fresh.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I know that there are gays in the military and all that, but attention was never drawn to that. Everything was about things done the military way. If they're going to stick with that in the series and the science fiction portion of it, fine. But don't write in that woke crap that they're trying to infiltrate into everything. There's a time and place.
Gary says fresh, no white guys. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
And I think this is John Steed. Okay. So John Steed says, don't let chin balls near it. I'm just getting into it. Yeah, exactly. I think Joseph would come back. And hopefully he wouldn't let them do any of that stuff to it. I think he'd want to, I wouldn't worry as much. But there's still that point, like if they decided to bring it back and didn't want him involved or whatever, then I would really worry a lot more. I would love to see, I haven't finished what I've seen, so I've got a ways to go. And I know SGU, right, with Stargate Universe, it basically is canceled, right? So it doesn't really end. Has Chibnall's play closed yet? Oh, you. Yeah. No, but he's working on his novel, remember? So he's busy. He's a busy man. We need to hear modern audiences said in a drinker's voice. Yeah, exactly. When they say fresh, this is what they want. So stay away from it for right now until this woke apocalypse ends. And then you can talk about, everything is racist, like Colin was saying. Everything is sexist. It never ends. But anyway, so here's to the good stuff. Here's some more positive stuff, even though we may crap on all their list here. I think our list is better.
Gary, no.
What's that?
We're not doing that. His comment, Stargate SGLG. No. No.
Yes, that's what's going. And when they say fresh, that's what they mean. Time mechanic. They could do a Doctor Who crossover. They open up a portal and kick out Wingy Karen, who thinks she's some timeless child. Oh, I like that. I do. I think that's great. And throw in Shooty out there for good measure too. Throw him out. All right. So I thought this was interesting. This is 35 best sci-fi movies of all time ranked. This is the Collider clickbaity site,
Okay.
but they make a lot of lists. So I actually like looking through their lists sometimes. And sometimes they're right on, and sometimes they're not. And some of these we may have seen, but as we've had done here before, we found some good movies that we'd never heard of or thought about watching, and we watched them. So we might have some in here that we haven't ever seen. I have never seen The Forbidden Planet, so there you go.
Me neither.
So this is 35 on their list. I have no
Okay.
idea about this movie. Of all the science fiction movies made during the 1950s, Forbidden Planet is undeniably up there with the most iconic. It follows a crew of space travelers. They go in search of another exploration party that's been missing for years, only to find some unusual and startling discoveries during their attempted rescue recovery mission. So I'm not sure if anyone in the chat's seen that. I'm sure they have. I'm sure there's a lot of nerds out there that have seen seen this one. But let us know if this is something that is worth watching or not. We do like a good B. It kind of looks like a B movie sci-fi. We're not against watching those. Yes,
Right.
I've heard it stars Leslie Nielsen from Airplane and
Wow. Okay.
The Naked Gun. So
Gary said it's a
says,
must-see.
all right, so that'll have to be put on the list somewhere. All right, so number 34 is Inception. Sorry. That is the most. Have you seen it?
No.
It's a snooze fest.
Oh boy.
I don't agree with this at all. I have a hard time with Christopher Nolan films. And Christopher Nolan, who created the Batman series with Christian Bale.
Okay.
Yeah, so Inception, certainly it was a cinematic highlight of 2010. It has some pretty tough competition that year too. It's Christopher Nolan blending his affinity for action and science fiction in one, and making this blend go down smoothly with an engaging premise that's about performing a reverse heist with the target's subconscious, making it a function well as an action thriller movie as well as a piece of science fiction. So, I don't know. It might be something you're into, but whatever you do not try to watch this movie when you're tired. It is it's got a lot going on.
Okay.
And here we go from Archer says, Galactic Gals, I guess we're talking about Forbidden Planet. It's a very good film, iconic even, from back before Leslie Nielsen was a comedic actor. Okay, so he's serious in it, which, don't call me a nerd, you geek. That's true. That is very true. It's funny because, it's true. So this one I have never seen, but I keep passing by it, because there's a woman in the lead, and now I'm just so triggered by seeing a woman in a show because women are the leads in every show now. They are. It's so oversaturated. I mean, I get it. I love it. The women are getting roles. That's great, but it's in every freaking show now. But this was made in 2013 before the woke apocalypse, so I feel like it's safe. I've never seen it. It is one that I keep passing over that's gotten really great reviews on lists. So it's a sci-fi conventional. Those who prefer their sci-fi conventional may want to steer clear of Under the Skin or approach it very cautiously, given it's another strange, haunting, and unapologetic film directed by Jonathan Glazer. It's essentially an art house take on a story without an alien coming to Earth, perhaps being for the 2010s, that was equally bizarre and captivating the men who fell to Earth from the 70s. So basically, it's a film about it's like Mimic. I'm assuming like she's an alien that kills men.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I get that feeling, and obviously it has Scarlett Johansson in it. Never seen it. Next, yes. We're getting there. Why did it go black? That's interesting. See, it broke. See, RTD has infiltrated our stream now, and he's shut us down. So let me reshare.
I was going to say, can we give her a list? Because I can think of some right at the top. So
that's
Forbidden
weird.
Planet. I'll have to find that. I wrote that down. That's what I was doing, was writing that down. Because I was telling you that I went back and was watching old shows. I started watching Jeremy Brett's Sherlock Holmes, and then been watching The Lone Ranger, the old black and white.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh boy, not woke, you know. It was so refreshing, just trying to find something else to watch. And then
I know.
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I got Briscoe County Junior on. We got the box set.
And
I
saw that. That's cool.
He gave me the list of how to watch them in order because he said they're not in order on the DVD.
Oh,
so,
that's weird.
So I'm gonna.
I wonder why that they chose to do that.
Don't know. Even I think Firefly is the same way. It's weird. So
I'm wondering if it's like that when you stream it too, because I mean Firefly is on my list to watch.
Right. So I'm looking forward to watching it for sure. That and Sequest DSV. That's another good series I've been watching.
Oh yeah, I remember when that was on. I never watched it, but.
And I saw somebody on there mention 3-Body Problem. I started watching that last night on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird, but
Is it weird?
It's interesting. It's really interesting.
Okay.
It's going to make you think. So
yeah, I saw it. I saw the trailer like when they were advertising it to me when I was looking for something. But
yeah.
All right, so 32 is Avatar, which I've never seen. It's not have any interest in me at all. I'm not a James Cameron fan, so yeah. I don't know. Have you seen Avatar?
I have. I've seen all of them, and apparently they're supposed to make like 4 or 5 of these Avatar movies, but I do like the first one.
Okay. You haven't seen Way of Water yet?
Yes, I have. It's good.
Okay.
It's just long. I like the idea of the pods that are in there where you get in these pods and you're like projected into this. You become like an avatar and everything, and I thought that was pretty cool. It's like, damn, that'd be nice to see and experience, you know. But here we are.
I mean, visually it looks cool. I just it never appealed to me, and I'm kind of I don't know. I'm not a huge James Cameron fan, so when I see his title in movies, it's like Christopher Nolan. It's like, you know, I just want to go to sleep. You know, I don't. It's you know. But hey, if you like it, that's great. I mean, you know, a lot of people do. There's a lot of fans. So, and Gary will be griping about this when it's number 31 on their list. Gary,
it should be up a lot higher. Yeah, it should be up a lot.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I actually think this is a great film. And I do prefer these over the newer ones. Because that's just how I am. I sometimes I think that, you know, I understand why the newer ones, as I'm talking about the Mark Wahlberg one. I don't mean the prequels, right? Those are okay, but this right here is it should never been remade. It's a great film. I agree. I think it should be higher.
Yeah.
Perfection. Yeah, but I'm assuming he's thinking that it's too low on the list, which
it is.
I'm assuming this list is made by a Gen Zer or
probably.
Millennial. So yeah, you know nothing. Like you know nothing, Jon Snow. District 9. I've never seen this movie.
I don't think I've seen
Peter
it
Jackson.
either.
I think Peter Jackson produced it. He didn't direct it, but and basically it's about a guy that so basically it's about a guy that is in this, like, it's not like, you know how like the Japanese internment camps, well, they have an internment camp for aliens, and he turns into one of them. So it's just, and he was one of the guards, I guess. That's what I'm understanding what the movie's about. I mean, it sounds interesting. I don't know if anybody in the chat seen it and it's worth watching, or I do like body horror shows. So this kind of is I mean, to me, what's terrifying about these shows is the actual, like, you're slowly turning into something and you're losing yourself. To me, that's the most scary horror to me. Yeah. I don't know if you feel that way. Like, it's kind of like The Fly, you know, like you're losing yourself. And so that's very horrifying.
Or even John Shepard in Stargate Atlantis when he turned into the erratic bug.
That actually freaked me out. Like those episodes, Because see, that's my biggest fear is actually turning into some creature, turning something that's not yourself.
It's very
That's
Kafka-esque.
horrifying.
Yeah.
Yes, and I actually miss horror. I think they should make more like, and they did that more in the 50s and 60s with horror, if you think about it. And they kind of lost their way about doing that as much. I mean, you see it here and there, but there's not as much of that. That's why I like Lovecraft, because it's always like they're changing to something, or that's terrifying to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe this would be something I want to watch, but maybe not.
I wrote it on my list, so.
All right, and I see this one a lot when I'm like going through. Like they recommend this to me all the time. This movie called Stalker, and it's from 1979, and apparently it's among the best known titles in Andrei Tarkovsky's filmography. It follows three men who are trying to find a mysterious location known as Only the Zone, as it's rumored to grant great power to anyone who can locate it. Stalker feels less focused on the narrative necessarily in its status as an art house science fiction. Here we go with the art house again, Gary. It means it's more concerned with exploring abstract themes and providing a unique, in this case, eerie mood. And that can work. I mean, art house and sci-fi can work. It has happened. But it sounds interesting. They keep recommending it to me. I think I'd have to be in the mood for something like this, though. Definitely. I don't know if anyone in the chat has seen it. But
yeah.
Or when Tom Paris turned into a salamander on Voyager. That doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound fun at all. Wow, they're talking about Planet of the Apes in the chat. They're just I like some art house stuff. Yeah, I think it can work. I mean, art house horror is also actually terrifying too. Depends on how they do it.
Yeah.
Oh, this movie right here. It's too low on this list. Needs to be higher. Moon. I love this movie. We reviewed it on my other channel several years ago. It is a great movie about a guy that's left alone on a space station, far away from his family, and he gets in an accident, hurts himself, and then weird things start happening. Like another him just shows up. So,
lovely.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Sam Rockwell is great in this movie. I need to buy this on DVD. It's another one. Like every time I do these, I'm like, I'm gonna buy another movie, because it just reminds me. So this is number 28. Way too low on this list. Needs to be higher. It's a great film. I recommend it highly.
Gary said Moon is a good movie that I would never have seen if Andy hadn't made me.
Yes, and now you're glad you have, because it's a very serious sci-fi, and Sam Rockwell is not like Guy from Galaxy Quest in this one.
Okay.
Definitely worth your time. It's actually directed by Duncan Jones, who's David Bowie's son. So
okay,
really good. It's a really good one. Ex Machina, and I've never seen this, and Jason keeps telling me to watch this movie, and I'm like, okay, I will one day, and it's like I never do. It's kind of like the Parallax View with oh God, what's his name? He's a famous actor. God. Anyway, he was in Bonnie and Clyde. That's all I can remember right now. I can't believe I can't remember his name. But yeah, I keep promising I'll watch it, but basically it's about a man that creates a robot, and obviously he falls in love with her, I believe.
Okay.
But I think more happens than that. I just really don't know. But yeah, I heard it's a really good one. Obviously everything goes wrong in this movie, I'm sure. But I haven't seen it, and I definitely will have this on my list to watch, and I've never watched it. So anybody in the chat has watched it, let me know if it's worth my time. Okay. Good premise, Ex Machina, but weak ending. I don't like that. Artificial Intelligence, the title of R2D's autobiography. Always goes back to him. Why does he live in our heads so bad? This is a great movie.
I did see that one. Yeah. That was a crazy movie. You have to really follow it for sure from the beginning. Yeah. You just can't jump in.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah.
But I like the idea that, about pre-crime, like before you've done something, they're taking you in. I think that's actually frightening. I I think this is way too low on the list. I don't know who these people are, but they're idiots. But yeah, Tom Cruise is good in this, and I'm not a huge Tom Cruise fan, and I like the special effects for 2002 were really great too.
Yeah.
Considering, we were still on the cusp of actually really good CGI, of creating that. But yeah, I think this is a really, really, really great movie. And director Steven Spielberg, how can you go wrong?
And it'll make you think, man. It'll make you question a lot.
Mhm.
The idea that you can just be arrested and you haven't done anything, and they're trying to prevent something, and it's like,
Right,
but
right.
I'm not going to do that. It's definitely worth watching.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Very, very good movie. Another one I need to buy. I'm trying to I'm trying to get a great sci-fi movie collection together, and I'm doing pretty good, but money, it's like,
of course.
And I like the idea of owning it, because these are actually, believe it or not, when I go to look up stuff that I want to watch, a lot of times, no streaming service that I have has it.
Right.
It's always on Apple, and you have to rent it, or it's just ridiculous.
And when you buy it, you're not really buying it because they can take it off anyway. So you're better off with a physical copy.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been working on. Yeah.
So here's another Christopher Nolan film. I do like this one better. I think it's incredibly long, though, but it's Interstellar. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Is this the one where she's a young girl, but she grows up and something about a watch and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Matthew McConaughey ends up on this in space and for many, many years, and that's his daughter.
Okay. Yes, we've seen it.
Yeah, I think it's a little long, but I think it's a better Christopher Nolan film. It didn't quite make me want to go to sleep as much, so that's a good one. Christopher Nolan, I think, is very overrated as a director in some of his movies, but I didn't mind this one. I just think it was incredibly long. Too long. I think it should be further along the list. I actually don't agree with this. Is too high for it.
Okay.
But it's a good watch. Once you see it, I didn't want to see it again.
Yeah.
3 hours of Matthew. I like Matthew McConaughey. That was the pro thing for me. 3 hours of Matthew McConaughey isn't a bad thing. As long as he's not talking about politics, then it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
All right. So this is way too low. Way too low. You idiots. This should be number 2 or 1. This is not number 24. Okay. This is a great film. Again, body horror. Basically you're, pod people. It's changing, or you're dying, and then there's a weird clone of you, and no, but it's good, and it terrifies you in a way that they can't do anymore. And great film. I don't know what who is this person that put this list together?
I don't know, but I still think the Planet of the Apes should be definitely around wherever this movie lands.
Now,
if we were to
I'm
go
going to
and
ask this because I don't know, because I know you're not really into horror or anything. Have you ever seen this film?
I think I've seen bits and pieces of it. I think
you need
I
to watch
remember
this entire film. This is just it's so good, and yes, it's horror, but it's well directed horror. It's well acted horror. It's got Donald Sutherland, Leonard Nimoy's in this movie, Jeff Goldblum's in this movie. It's a real, great casting, great film. And I know Gary's probably in the stream going, "Oh my God, 24."
Yeah.
And it is a remake, one of the best remakes ever, better than the original, one of the best final scenes ever. Yes, it is. It's a great film. And these people are idiots, is all I'm saying. Did Chris Chibnall come up with this list, or RTD? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so I've never seen this film either, Solaris, and they keep. I know they
haven't
made a remake of it. It doesn't sound very exciting. It says one of the best Russian language movies of all time. Already, I'm like, look, I do not like reading subtitles.
Yeah.
Also happened to be directed by one of the best Russian filmmakers of all time, Andrei Tarkovsky, who obviously did liked Stalker 2. It's a slow and dense sci-fi movie, largely taking place on a space station a psychologist is sent to as all who live there have fallen into an inexplicable state of emotional distress. It doesn't sound like something I would probably want to watch, but that doesn't mean it's not good. I don't know. If anyone in the chat has seen it, let us know. This is something you think we should watch. Just leave it in the comments. I don't have any clue what this movie is about.
Gary said,
but
I haven't seen this one, so it must not be good.
is that okay? That's how it works. But again, I don't like dubbing either, Kelly, but I could deal with it a little bit more. I think they dubbed, I want to say, no, they didn't dub. I got through Squid Game because it was so interesting. And that made it, because the storyline was just so good that I just couldn't stop. It was binge. Let me watch another one. It was a binge. So that worked out, but a lot of times it doesn't for me. And we reviewed this on here. I think this is too low too.
Yep, I agree.
And I watched it the first time. I'd never seen it before last year, and I quite enjoyed this. I liked the aesthetics. I liked the storyline. The acting was good. I thought it for 1951. It's a really good. It's a really good film. So I think 22 is too.
Yeah, way too low.
And if you haven't, we do have last year. We did watch this movie and review it. So I wish I knew what the title of what I called it at the time, but it's in there somewhere. Just keep looking. We did do one, and I think we did a double feature.
Yeah.
I don't remember the other movie we reviewed though, but or maybe it was just this one. But yeah, so check that out. I've never seen this one either. My son swears by it. It's called Arrival. I have no idea what this movie is even about.
Think Jeremy Renner. Jeremy Renner's in it. Jeremy Renner's in it. I think I have seen that one.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
Yeah. I saw it once. I would actually have to go back and watch it again to remember it. It's okay. You know, it makes you wonder a lot of things.
Obviously the aliens arrive.
Yeah.
I'm getting that from the title. There was another movie called The Arrival, which was with Charlie Sheen.
Okay.
Back in the 90s that I had watched that I liked at the time, but this isn't the same movie, obviously, or the same premise. So
yeah.
Okay. So I mean, I might
okay.
check it out at some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
He swears by it. He thought it was a really good show. I don't know. I don't, he's Gen Z though,
Yeah.
So okay, this is too low.
Way too low. Way too low.
And I think this was one of our picks, as well as Invasion of the Body Snatchers, that we had picked on several lists in the past.
Yeah.
But I definitely know this was picked by one of you. It might have been you or Gary. I don't remember. But
I think it was Gary. Low. Yeah, definitely too low. And I mean,
number 20. I mean, at least got to be in the top 10 at least.
Yes, definitely.
It's one of the best Star Trek movies,
or
the best. Yeah. I saw this in the theater when I was 10, and my parents took me to see it. I guess because there was nothing else playing, and they thought, oh, well, she'll like I did like Star Trek, but she'll be fine with this. And I'm like, I was fine until I saw the little bugs crawl in the ear.
Oh yeah, I'm like, oh, even to this day, I turn my head and close my eyes. Yeah,
I'm still horrified by that.
Yeah,
I'm still like traumatized. My parents but I also remember like being very sad when Spock was.
Right. Gary said, "Whoever compiled this list is a moron."
That's exactly right. I think RTD did it.
Yeah,
I think he did.
Could be.
Come on, admit it. I've never seen this movie. I'm not big on Disney like movies anyway, but
WALL-E is actually really good. That's my youngest son's favorite movie, just because there's not a lot of talking in it until it gets closer to the end and everything. And you got this little robot, that's going around, and he picking up stuff, looking for junk and stuff, and he finds a boot with some green in it. A plant, and they're trying to find their Earth or whatever. It's a cute little movie.
All right.
It's a cute
I
little
mean,
movie.
you know, something maybe later to watch with the little one
Yeah.
when they get old enough, and
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. I've not seen this movie, but I've heard horrible things about it. Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's got the weird looking Jamie Lee Curtis in it. And I don't trust this person when they're like all this beautiful word. They don't not telling you what the show's about or make you want to watch the show, because I don't know why these writers think that you want to understand their flowery jargon. Yeah, it's just I've heard bad things. I've heard it's a bore fest. I heard it's not good, and then I've heard from people, oh, it's great. It actually won Best Picture last year. So I don't know if you've heard anything about this movie, or if anybody else in the chat has. Who did this abomination of a list? Collider. So this is what we're comparing. We're comparing their list to our list, and I think our lists are way better.
Yeah.
Because they're created by humans that have taste. But I haven't seen this, and I've been tempted to watch it to see, but I've heard it's incredibly long, and it looks like she's yawning in the picture too. Obviously, I know she's doing a karate move, but it looks like she's yawning as she's doing the move. So maybe that says about the movie. I don't really know anything about it. Anyone in the chat knows, have seen it, recommend it, let us know. This movie, I personally love this movie. It's bizarre, it's horrible, it's very violent, but it ticks off a lot of boxes for me. I haven't watched this movie in a few years, but the last time I watched it, I remember kind of being a little bit more upset about some of the violent scenes in it. Because, you know, when you're younger, you don't take that stuff as you're a little harder when you're younger.
Right.
And I think when you see it as older, but it still stands up for me, because here's a person that's obviously a complete criminal, and he is, you feel like he's beyond rehabilitation, and he is. And he's taken in after he does all these horrible rapes and crimes with his gang, and they basically reprogram him to any kind of violent thing. He gets sick. He literally becomes very sick, and at the end, of course, it doesn't take. But I think it's a very interesting, tale about somebody that is beyond rehabilitation, because there's people like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then taking someone like that and just forcibly trying to rehabilitate them.
Yeah.
It's a great aesthetically. It's a great film. It's Stanley Kubrick, so you know what you're in for.
Right.
With him. But Malcolm McDowell did just an incredible job in the film. I mean, he becomes that character, and man, it's wow. I wouldn't call it a horror film. I know they do. But I think it is much more dystopian, kind of a tale about, a really horrible person that they try to forcibly, rehabilitate, and it doesn't go very well. So it's definitely worth a watch if you're just in the mood for that one day. And I don't know if you ever will be.
Okay.
But it's a cult film for sure. And the Funko that is based on this was they only made 8 of them. And it's the most sought. It's like, I think the Funko is worth $15,000. Just a little.
Oh my word! Wow.
For you. Yeah.
Wow.
And they made another one, and of course it isn't worth $15,000. But the original one they only made like 8 of them. So yeah.
Wow.
It's worth a lot of money. Oh, and obviously this one. I mean, it's still too low. Still too low on the list.
For real. Wow.
Yeah, Back to the Future, number 16. Who are these idiots? Yes, it's a dystopian worldview. Yes. Yeah. When I hear that I'm Singing in the Rain, which was in Clockwork Orange, I don't see, like, when I hear that song, I don't think of like Gene Kelly anymore. I think of the Clockwork Orange, which is, I don't know what that says about me. It says I've seen it too many times. Yes, Kelly, that should be way higher. Yes, I don't know. What do you say about Back to the Future?
It should be higher, definitely higher than that.
Gary says, Back to the Future, another movie directed by Way Too Low. That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, what do you say about Back to the Future? It's a classic. I mean,
if
you haven't seen it. Oh God, I don't know what to say if you haven't seen this movie. And it's weird because I don't like, I know that shot, like that's a scene in the film, obviously, but it's just the way they shot it makes it look like something I've never seen before in the movie. I think that's an interesting picture though. Just from that angle, but anyway. Oh God, I hate this movie so bad. I don't. It's so bad, and I like Clive Owen so much, and I had so much hope. But this is when they were kind of like, they were slowly starting the whole like, let's put a black character in here and make him the savior of the world. And the actress here is obviously there hasn't been a new child born in 18 years because there's an infertility issues. And of course, this black woman is the only one that can get pregnant. So she's to be protected at all costs because she's the savior of the world. It's ridiculous. I watched the movie and I was just like, oh my God, this is the worst. I don't recommend anyone watch this. It's terrible. It's terrible. And Clive Owen can't even save it. Jeez. So, yeah, I don't know if everyone else is seeing this movie, but yeah, it's too high. It beat Back to the Future. Keep that in mind. This person,
they're saying it beat Planet of the Apes. I mean, really?
Yeah. All right. The Thing. Okay. This is better. It's higher up on the list. It's better. It's got Kurt Russell, who's obviously talked about a lot on this program lately. It's a movie can't be bad if Kurt Russell's in it, right? You just can't.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if you've seen The Thing or not.
I think bits and pieces.
It's been a long time since I've actually watched this movie, to be honest with you. But I remember being terrified. But Kurt Russell, so, yeah, I just, he was like a big thing in the 80s. I mean, 80s and 90s. Kurt Russell was like, it seemed like Kurt Russell was the Nicolas Cage of now. Nicolas Cage is every time you look around, Nicolas Cage is still in a movie. I mean, the guy's got a huge career.
He does.
Yeah, it's a great film, body horror again. Turning into something that you don't want to. That's really good horror to me, and and also you're out in the the Arctic, and no one's around, and you're just on an expedition team, and you're just like, yeah, it's horrifying, and I don't think they can make movies like this anymore. I don't think it's possible in the way that they had Wilford Brimley, lots of character actors, which is a dying thing now, right? Character actors. And people that Kurt Russell do not exist anymore. I mean, he exists, but not this version of Kurt, not the young Kurt Russell. There's no young Kurt Russells anymore. It's sad. It's a very sad thing, but I still think it's too low, but it's getting on the right path. We're on the right path now.
Okay.
You've never watched The Thing.
Just bits and pieces of it. So
no. I mean, Time Mechanic says he's never.
Oh
watched
yeah.
it. I'm surprised. Yeah, we talked about that. When I was a little girl, I had major crushes on both Kurt Russell and Tim Matheson. They were in tons of movies back then. Yeah. Big Trouble in Little China. Just saying.
Yeah, The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes is another good movie with Kurt Russell.
Yeah, that's the Disney one. It's
so
a big flop when
young.
it was released.
But
I
young.
don't understand. It's such a good movie. Yes, he was young there too, still, but older. I'll be honest with you. Why is this on the list? I don't understand how this could beat Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Back to the Future, The Thing. What was the other one? There's others. I mean, hell, it even beat Interstellar, and I'm not like huge on it, right? Godzilla, 1954. You can't tell me this movie is better than any of those. This person's an idiot. This person's a real idiot. I get it. If you like this type of thing, and I get it, right? But I still don't think it should beat, I don't think it should beat Back to the Future. I don't think it should beat The Thing, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, or any other films before this. I really don't. All right. If you say so. I mean, justice for Godzuki.
Yes,
Are
I
you
remember
telling me this
Godzuki.
beats the Thing? No, no, sir. No, no, sir. I'm sorry. Person's really an idiot. All right. I don't know. Have you seen Godzilla? I've never. I probably saw it when I was a kid.
I seen bits and pieces of it on like Sunday afternoons or something when it would come on movies on whatever channel at the time. It used to come on like right after
I'd have to be
Twilight Zone or
drunk to
something.
watch this now. I would have to be on. It have to be on the B movie stream, and I have to be drinking to watch it. That would be where the only reason I'd watch it. If I was like, okay, there's something else to watch, I'll jump on there. We'll have a chat, like making fun of it, and then I can drink. That would be the only way. Because it's just no. I mean, I watched him as a kid, but like it's just not my thing now. But hey, if you like it, if that's your thing, but I still don't think it beats Back to the Future. Sorry. And also, this cannot be Back to the Future. And I know there's people like RoboCop, and I get it. It should be on the list somewhere. I just think 12 is too high. Over Invasion of the Body. This person, I'm going to write a very strong letter to you, young man, whoever did this. Let me school you for a minute.
Yeah, really. Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an okay movie, but it's not on. It would be way
I
at
thought
the
it
bottom
was,
of
and we
my
talked
list,
about Paul Verhoeven. I think he directed Total Recall too. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think we've talked about him before too. He's been on several lists with different movies. So he's been kind of a, focus, but I saw it years ago. I remember being very bloody and over the top bloody. And it was an interesting premise. I don't know. Maybe this is just a really like certain kind of person's thing. I don't know. It never did anything. I know they remade it. I heard it sucked. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would I ever watch it again? Probably not. No, no, not for me. But
not for me. I'm just no.
This one's a good one.
It is
Another
a good
Steven
one.
Spielberg. I mean, that's about right. I wouldn't give it like accolades. It's a cute movie, and it had its day, and I still enjoy it. I still cry at the end of it. I mean, I can't help myself. It's heartwarming. I'm glad something beat Godzilla. Nice of them to be generous with ET and like put it a little above. I don't remember Archer if Starship Troopers is on the list. I don't think it is, but I could be right. I'll admit it. I couldn't stand. Okay, that's cool. Like I like different people's opinion. Everybody, look, it's not my favorite movie, but I enjoyed it as a kid, and I watched it a lot as a kid. But I wouldn't say I'm like a major fan of it.
Right.
But I do think Stranger Things borrowed a lot from some of that, in a way, amongst other 80s films like The Goonies and Alien and things like that. And they kind of mixed all that up. So on that sense, there's a lot of nostalgia to this film. Gary says they were going to do a sequel set on E.T.'s planet where all these Reese's Pieces turned him into a rampaging killer. I don't know if he's kidding or not, but you never know.
And you guys can have all the Reese's Pieces. Ugh.
Oh, I love those things. I used to. They're a little sweet now, but do you like Reese's peanut butter cups?
I do like those, but I will not eat Reese's Pieces. I have tried. Nope.
I remember that was the thing when this movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and actually Eminem was offered the promotion, like to promote and they refused because they thought it would be like a scary movie, and they wouldn't do it, and then they really regretted not doing it. And so Reese's Pieces actually had stepped in and did it. But
oh well.
Here's another director we talked about last week, Terry Gilliam, who directed Fear and Loathing and Time Bandits, and he has a film called Brazil, which my son's like, you need to watch that movie. It's obviously a very zany kind of movie. It's a surreal, dark comedy, dystopian sci-fi movie about a bureaucrat named Sam Laurie. He's roped into a bizarre conspiracy and series of events. he never manages to fully understand, and viewers who sit through the relentless 143-minute movie might come out the other end just as confused as Sam. I don't know. I don't get for much from that. These people really don't know what to tell you, like explain what a movie's sort of about. But I've heard good things. I don't know. I might one weekend, if I'm not watching anything else, I
Yeah.
might check it out. But I like weird films, so it might be okay. I have to be in the mood. E.T. is my number one movie. It's great. That's wonderful. I'm glad. At least it's not like Godzilla. Godzilla didn't beat everything. I hated Brazil. I walked out if I hadn't been with someone who was enjoying it. Okay. So it was probably like you either love it or hate it movie, which is most of Tarantino films. So, and most of Terry Gilliam. I didn't like Time Bandits. I'll be honest. I did not like that movie. I still don't. I've tried to like it. My parents took me to see it in the movie theater. I hated it. And I rewatched it when my son was little and I still hated it. So I don't know if I watched it again today, I probably still hate it. Like, there's some movies and some directors that you either love or hate what they do. And that's probably one of them. So I don't know. Maybe one day when I got a wild hair, I'll watch it. Okay. So this is one that we had on our list not too long ago. Jurassic Park, another Steven Spielberg movie. I think this is fair. This is getting more like getting better.
Yeah.
At least it beat Godzilla. Godzilla is better than Time Bandits. I didn't say that. Time Bandits is very English. Yes, I know it's very English. I like very English things. I like Red Dwarf. I like Doctor Who. I like very English things, but I don't know. It just didn't do anything for me. I wanted it to. Like, it had all the trappings I normally like, but just didn't do anything for me. That's one big pile of shit. What Goldum said, not the movie. Okay, go Bloom.
He did say that.
All right, so I think this. Okay, I'll be honest. I loved this movie when it first came out, but the sequels all ruined it all for me after that. I don't know. Have you seen The Matrix?
I have. I need to go back and watch it again.
Me too.
Because I think it's all very relevant to everything going on today, and I didn't understand it, back then. I guess maybe I wasn't ready. I don't know. That's why I want to revisit this and watch it and see if I'm like, get those light bulb moments now.
Yeah, I like the first one, but it's one of those movies that the other ones all ruined the first one for me. So it's hard for me to go back and view the first one because I'm like, but yeah, they had to ruin it with sequels because I felt like this was something that needed to like be kind of like people were like wondering, like later having discussions about what's really going on,
Yeah.
I kind of wanted that. And when they revealed too much, it kind of, when they got the second one and they got to the underground city and the people and how the real people and how they were living, it just, I mean, like I said, the first one I loved it. I went and saw it in the movie theater and I was like, oh my God, this is a great movie. And I couldn't wait for them to do a sequel because I thought, well, they're just going to it's going to be more of this. And it was like, no, it was just, and by the time that they came out with the last one, which I did watch because I was curious how they were going to bring Neo back. Oh my God. It was like half rom-com, half sci-fi. It was just, it was weird. It was like weird how they did it. And it just seemed like they just threw it all together and it wasn't quite the same. And it's weird because when the first movie came out, it said it was directed by the Wachowski brothers. And now it doesn't because they're both transgender.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
Yeah. So that's why it says Lena and Lily Wachowski, but originally it said the Wachowski brothers. So yeah, a little bit of tidbit on that one.
Oh, mercy.
Yeah, but no, I wanted more from it. I think I wanted more of like the first movie, and I got more like I don't know, Beyond Thunderdome or something. It seemed to me.
Yeah.
And this, of course, is better. It's on. Much better. And thankfully it beats Godzilla because if this had been like, I would really be angry. I would really be writing a strong worded letter. But yeah, I love this film.
Yep, me
I
too.
really do. The mashed potatoes, you can't
Yes,
look at mashed potatoes
yes.
ever the same way. And I really did think his wife was kind of a bitch.
Yes.
I couldn't help but think that about her, because even though I mean, even though I kind of understand, I think she should have been more understanding because of what he had seen and what had happened to
Right.
him. Instead, it was like just more like me, 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 me. It's like
Mm-hmm.
this man went through a traumatic event,
Yeah.
something that no one had ever gone through, and you're like bitching because, like, he isn't being the same. He's not the same. If you experience something like that, you're not going to be the same. It's like expecting Travis Walton from Fire in the Sky to be like, okay, I'm going to be normal now after been probed and prodded and done experiments on. You wouldn't
Yeah.
expect them to act the same. So it's a really good film with some really, like, perfect Steven Spielberg moments, like, in the house with the, oh God, what's her name? I forgot. She was in the Christmas Story too, but with her and her son, and she's trying to protect her son was actually frightening. And the
Yeah,
way
it
that
was.
they did the scene with all the lights and the ship from the outside the house was great.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get this anymore, sadly.
Yeah.
But
Ian said this movie made him become a director. That's cool that he had
wow, that
inspiration
is
from
really
that.
cool.
That's
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah, Melinda Dillon, thank you. Yeah, her name was like on the tip of my tongue, and I'm just like, I wanted to say D. Wallace Stone, but that's E.T. Yes, Close Encounters is my number one. Beautiful piece of work, timeless, inspiring. Yes, and it doesn't get old. Like when you watch it, it's a long movie, but it doesn't seem that way because it's so engaging from the very beginning to the very end. It's very engaging.
Right.
And my question to you: were you disappointed about seeing the aliens? I mean, did that kind of like take something away from you, or were you fine with that? Because some people,
I was actually
rather not
okay
see
with
them.
that because I like the idea actually that Richard Dreyfuss got invited to go with him and left. I mean, that's
Yeah.
I wish an alien would come. Okay, an outer space alien, not an illegal one. Would come and ask me go with him. Because
Yeah.
heck yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad they left that alone. I hope they never ever do a remake of it.
Well, you might get a sequel called Close Encounters 2: The Probing. Yeah, that would
man.
be. All right. So what do you think about this being number 6, Terminator 2: Judgment Day? What did you feel about this movie if you've seen it? I think you have.
I've seen it. Oh yeah, I've seen this one. I like Robert Patrick. Yeah,
Stargate.
I don't think it should be 6. I mean, I think Close Encounters is definitely better than T2. I mean, now graphic wise, I thought the special effects and everything were amazing in it for the time it was. That's right. What got me interested in that. And we've been actually going back and watching the Terminator movies because I'm trying to get into that lore. So
you're watching? Are you watching all of them, like front 1, 2, and then all the way to?
Yeah,
current?
we just bought the first Terminator movie because I thought we had it. Tracy thought we had it. We didn't, so we finally have it. I've seen that one. I've seen Genesis. There's another one, and I've seen bits and pieces of the Sarah Connor Chronicles. So I'm just now getting into that lore. But I know so far T2 is my favorite out of what I've seen.
I've heard the last one was terrible, but again, watch it yourself, make up your own mind.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of bad reviews on it. So I kind of lost interest after I don't remember which one with the Christian Bale one was, but I lost interest after that.
Okay.
And I never watched the Sarah Connor Chronicles or anything like that. But yeah, I've been on the ride too at Universal Studios.
Okay.
I like this movie. It's my actually Terminator is probably my favorite of them because
Okay.
it's just so gritty and like Michael Biehn and
Mhm.
I thought Michael Biehn was really great in it. And I don't know, I kind of like Arnie being the evil one. Although I thought Robert Patrick was interesting because he could it was an interesting
Yeah.
technology that they had developed.
Yeah.
And I think Robert Patrick's a really good actor. I don't know, for whatever reason, it felt wrong Arnie being like the good guy in this. For me, I always thought he was good in the first Terminator, and but yeah, it's a good movie. I think 6 is. I think Close Encounters is a way better movie. I don't understand why that is beating it, but no, I don't think Terminator 1 is on this list. So
Huh.
I don't know who wrote this list. I didn't write it. We're just comparing it to what we do here, which is much better because we're real people.
Yeah.
They are too, but I don't know about you, but I just I always thought Empire Strikes Back was overrated. I liked it, but I don't understand. And I don't believe maybe Star Wars is on this list. I don't remember, but I don't understand why people like Empire Strikes Back over the first Star Wars or Return of the Jedi. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like liking. Okay, here's an example. I'll put it to the Lord. I'm more into Lord of the Rings at this point. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, and Return of the King are the best movies. It's like kind of like saying The Two Towers is the best movie of the series. And it's good, don't get me wrong, and it serves a purpose, but I never understood why The Empire Strikes Back is so revered. There, I said it. Send me hate mail. I don't know what to say.
I think Jedi is better than Empire Strikes Back. I mean,
yes.
I get
and I get
it.
a lot of crap for saying that.
No, I get it, because you learn about Luke's father and all that, but I found it very boring in places, I'll if I'm wanting to watch Star Wars because I'm in a Star Wars mood, I'll try to watch them in order, starting with A New Hope, and I'll do that, then the Empire, and then Return of the Jedi, and then I might go back and watch.
Yeah, and the other thing
ones.
is like, everybody was, I remember at the time, everybody was like, Yoda's so cute. I'm like, I thought it was weird, and this is just me. I thought it was weird that they're bringing in an actual puppet. I mean, they did more of that later, but Yoda really looked like a Jim Henson puppet.
Yeah.
And it just seemed kind of weird to me at the time. Now we're used to it, but at the time when the movie came out, it just seemed weird to me. But of course, later that they brought in more puppets.
Yeah.
But and then it didn't seem so weird. But and then the Ewoks. Yes, I know, Gary, the Ewoks. I know. Jedi has the Ewoks, but that's only a part of it.
My favorite part of that was the land speeders. No, those bike looking things that they would run through the forest on.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that would make a great video game.
I laughed through the whole thing because they were hitting the trees and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm demented. Overrated. I'm sorry. I know it had, you needed it because it fills in the story.
Right.
But it's like saying my favorite of the Lord of the Rings is The Two Towers. Yeah, it's good. It fills in it fills in the story. I would say The Two Towers is better than Empire Strikes Back, but it's just me. I like more, and I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars as a kid, but yeah, overrated. All right, this is too low. This is too low. It did beat Godzilla though. Thankfully. Right. This is another body horror type of thing. This is another thing where aliens are creatures from the old ones. It reminds me of the old ones, like, you're calling back the old ones from another dimension, and they're coming in and inserting pods into people, which anything that's being done to you that you can't control frightens me. And I think this works. And also Sigourney Weaver is badass in this.
Yeah.
Just badass. And it's been a long time. This movie terrifies me. It's been a long time since I've actually watched it. It's been several years. And every time I watch it, I have horrible nightmares.
Oh, boy.
It's a great movie, though. Maybe I'll watch it today. Just prepare for nightmares. anything with tentacles, anything with, that's an H.R. Geiger type of world frightens me. But it's so good. It's such a good movie, and it's so like, and they just this is when they made movies with what seemed like to be real people, not cutouts of somebody from, I don't know, like a dance club or a model or something. They were really just real people. You had Tom Skerritt, you had Sigourney Weaver, you had real people. They don't do that anymore. Yeah, it's terrifying. It's still too low. I think this should be number one, personally. Okay. It's not. Shocker, obviously. This shouldn't be. This is too high.
John Steed made a comment. He made a comment a while back. He said if it's in the top 10, he was going to jump out of a window.
What's that? His movie. This one?
Yes.
Okay. Here's my problems with this movie. We don't need to see like 30 minutes of apes beating on rocks, and it was too much, right? We didn't need to see 30 minutes of a ship docking. You didn't need to see that. There was so many goodness in this movie. Hal, the scenes with Hal and all that stuff right there was perfect. They needed more of Hal. They needed more of that kind of, I don't know. Have you seen this movie?
Bits and pieces of it. It just, it seemed to drag on.
If you get past, yes, if you get past all the parts with Hal are just great. But I thought 2010 was a much better film. I mean, but the scenes with Hal are just amazing, and the aesthetics, and Stanley Kubrick did some great work, right? He did some great work with these, making it look realistic. But come on, it is a bit self-indulgent. And number 3, I think, is too high. It's a good film, but in certain aspects, I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
Nope. On one for that high on the list. Yep. I totally agree with you. I think I think it is, and I like Stanley Kubrick. Okay, he's definitely got some great films under his belt, but yeah, there's some long drawn out scenes. But once you get past that, there's some really great scenes in it.
Yeah.
Number 3, it beats Alien. All right. Okay. I think this is good. I personally would switch out Alien with the other number 1 and put that one. I don't know, because I've never seen it, but Blade Runner is perfect. Alien should be number 1. Blade Runner should be number 2. I don't know what number 3 should be, but it's definitely shouldn't be 2001. Maybe Close Encounters, maybe something like that. And then Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Then you get Planet of the Apes. There's so many of them that were good that they just didn't pile together. But as everyone knows, I've talked about my love for this film. I still like it. I could probably watch it today and just get into it, from the music, the aesthetics. Harrison Ford, Rutger Hauer. Rutger Hauer is just a great villain in this.
Yes.
And just the director's cut is the way to go. Do not watch the one with narration. It's terrible. And whether he was a replicant or not, he was a replicant.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I think that's how it was played out, even though Harrison Ford didn't want it that way. And I think they argued, maybe it was one of them wanted him to be a replicant. I think it was Ridley Scott. And Harrison Ford did not want him to play him that way. I think that was the deal. So, from what I understand, I don't remember. Maybe it was the other way, but it's a great film. Rutger Hauer is just awesome. He's an awesome villain. I wish he would have been more in shows where he was the good guy, though, because he was a great. Lady Hawk, he was good.
Yeah, he also played in a movie called Blind Fury. He was blind in it, and he was I don't know, kind of not a samurai, but he studied somehow, and even though he was blind, he could still beat the ever living shit out of somebody and defend himself. And it's a pretty good film, Blind Fury.
Yeah, he didn't. Like I said, he didn't do enough of the good guy thing, but yeah, I'll check that out. Blind Furby, no, Blind Fury.
Fury, Fury.
Although that would be interesting. Somebody wrote, I do wish Decker wore a fedora like a normal PI. I don't know. I like the look he had. It was much better than the look he had in Blade Runner 2049. It looked like he just had a gray old changed t-shirt on and looked like he just woke up. I mean, I knew he was older, but he didn't have a look that Decker had, you know. And it made him very boring Funko Pop, the Blade Runner 2049, which I do have. It made it like it's a Hanes t-shirt and a pair of pants. It's like, really? That's all we get for Deckard? He's old, I know, but you know. Yeah, this movie is superior to Blade. Although I did like Blade Runner 2049, this movie is superior one. So number 2, fair. I'll give you points for that.
Okay.
This one I've never seen. I've never seen this movie, Metropolis. It's one of those art house films, apparently, that's important to put on lists to make you look like you're intelligent. I don't know. I've heard it's a good movie. I like the way the robot looks. I think that's cool. I've never seen it. I'll be honest. I'm not big on silent films. I probably will never watch. I did watch Nosferatu, and it was terrifying just the way he looked. But I'm not big on silent films at all. I probably will never watch this. I'll be honest. And I can admit I would never watch this because it's a silent film.
Yeah, wouldn't work for me either.
So it's about class warfare, revolution, and what would have been done to prevent humanity from going to war with itself when the years go on. It sounds absolutely boring. I don't know. Maybe there's fans of it in the chat. Maybe the people will be writing me horrible letters to me saying I'm an uncouth, uncultured person, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't think this should be number 1 because I don't know. I've never seen it. I can't say that, but I do think Alien should have been number 1.
Yeah. John asked, is that Cyberwoman by Chin Balls? Who knows?
No, actually, that looks better than what he could come up with. I'll give him that. For 1927, that was pretty damn good. But my great my great grandmother's favorite sci-fi movie. Man, that's good. That's a good one.
I do agree with Jim the Viking. He said kind of a letdown for a top list, decent one, but when you've had so many greats before it, that one does not fit on this list.
Put together a better list than these people.
Yeah, same, because some of those movies I'm like, eh.
And I also think sometimes when these people put together lists, they're like, they want to look how intelligent I am. I'm not about that. I'm like about what I love. I'm going to talk about what I love, not about what makes me look intelligent or makes me look like whatever. I've never seen this movie. I'm not going to speak on it, but like, I don't have a desire to see it. Does that make me like an uncouth person? No, it just doesn't appeal to me. I'm not big on silent movies. Wynn says, I don't mind silent films. Nosferatu is my favorite. Not seen Metropolis though. Yeah, I get it. Right. Like this is, it's your thing. That's your thing. I
wondered that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it couldn't be him because this is made in 1927.
And that
but it does look like him though.
Well, the other actor there with his hair slicked back, and the suit and everything, he reminds me of Peter for some reason. And I don't know why.
A little bit.
I guess maybe just the mannerism in that pose.
And Christopher Lloyd, I would probably watch it.
I probably would too. If
you want to watch this, see the edited 80s version of the music by Pat Benatar, among others. Okay. So that's a thing. So apparently they put it to new music. I might be able to handle that.
Wow.
Yeah, but still, it just doesn't. And I just think for number 1, it's a little snooty. Time travel in 1927. All right. So that's our list. That's it. That's everything that we have. So hope you guys enjoyed it. And I forgot to say, make sure you like, share, and subscribe because, we really need your support. And thank you guys last week. Our video did awesome. It was like, it's still climbing. It's 1,200 views, 22 likes, I believe, or 23. Thank you. Without you guys, we would keep doing this, but you kind of keep us motivated. At least me, I'm sure you feel the same way that you keep you motivated to kind of like when you're getting like good feedback and people talking and stuff. And honestly, we love doing nostalgic stuff. It's so fun. And we're going to do more of that this year, and unless people keep saying stupid stuff like RTD.
Yeah. Hey, Darren, The Day the Earth Stood Still was on the list. I don't remember where it was at. But it was way too low.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was way. Yeah, it wasn't close to anywhere on number one.
It should have been a
Yeah.
top 10 in my book.
Honestly, it should have been. Yeah, I mean it over. Well, I can't speak for it because maybe Metropolis is a great movie, but silent film, no. But
Yeah.
that's great. Exactly. There's some silence I really enjoy. That's great if that's your thing. It just I find them kind of boring, but hey, I teach their own. I suck at Retro Docs comics about the thumbnails. Okay, you're talking about the thumbnails. You mean
By the
picture?
way, the women in that thumbnail are beyond hot. Gary
Oh.
Gary always loves those. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love this one because it reminds me of like a 70s sci-fi television show. Which we probably both grew up on. Like Buck Rogers. That's what it reminds me of, like a Buck Rogers type of,
A
they
little
got
bit,
the
yeah.
like the Wilma Deering. Yeah, they got the Wilma
Yeah.
Deering. So we have a lot on our list to watch.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to watch Brazil, but I'm going to watch something off this. I'm going to make a point to watch something off that list. I'm going to find something, not Metropolis, but I'm going to find something to watch. Maybe we'll report back next week if we watched anything on it.
Yeah.
Maybe do it like we did before. I think we did that before. All right, guys, it's been fun. It's been real. We'll be back next week. I don't know, depending on what stupid shit RTD says. We may be doing the same thing. Who knows? Anyway, if you haven't already, like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell to be notified when we put up new content. See you later. Bye.
See you guys. Bye.